Finger gods. All right, so it's the end of a pretty long day, a good day. I'm excited to, prioritize sleep. I think that with the meditation, right, you can't not be thinking about sleep. And also, just how vital waking life is, but also, your dream life. It's very vivid. You work through things emotionally. It's pretty powerful. So what I did earlier today was read the introduction from Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul. So I'll pull that clip back up. And there he introduces it, and I'll read it, but to thine own self be true, and it will follow as the night the day. Thou canst not be false to any man. And what that basically means is if you're true to yourself, you can't be false to someone else. But as Michael points out, to which self do you be true? That the self that is on top of things and rock solid, dependable, reliable, and all that kind of thing, or maybe the mischievous you, or the you that is afraid to show up and that sort of thing. So I just think it's a good chapter. Hopefully there's no kind of copyright infringement. We'll see. I did read a page and a half, but go buy the book. I'll flash it up on the screen. Came into my hands. It was actually the first book that got me into thinking about awareness, consciousness. I think it's a really palatable text for the Western mind, and just an exciting read. As you'll hear, the introduction of the book kind of prompt that journey. I also worked a shift today in an old folks' home, and it's kind of interesting just to see, where we end up, all just so old, which is totally all well and good. And here's just kind of the food prep for dinner time. A lot of work goes into that. Also, a lot of waste after. And I also cleaned up like a maniac today, or not really like a maniac. My place was getting out of hand, so yeah, clean space, clean mind, right? Maybe not. But that's how it goes. All right, and now to actually reading that clip I mentioned. All right, I'm just gonna experiment by starting off day 4, I want to say, by reading the introduction of a book called The Untethered Soul. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not be false to any man. William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare's age-honored words spoken by Polonius to his son Laertes in Act 1 of Hamlet sound so clear and unambiguous. They tell us that to maintain honest relations with others, we must first be true to ourselves. Yet if Laertes were to be totally honest with himself, he would realize that his father may as well have told him to catch the wind. After all, to which self are we to be true? Is it the one that shows up when we're in a bad mood, or the one that is present when we feel humbled by our mistakes? Is it the one who speaks from the darkest recesses of the heart when we're depressed or upset, or the one that appears during those fleeting moments when life seems so fanciful and light? From these questions, we see that the concept of self may turn out to be a bit more elusive than initially presumed. Perhaps if Laertes could have turned to traditional psychology, would have shed some light on the subject. Freud, in 1927, the father of psychology, divided the psyche into 3 parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. He saw that the id is our primal animal nature, the superego as the judgment system that society has instilled within us, and the ego as our representative to the outside world that struggles to maintain a balance between the other 2 powerful forces. But this certainly would not have helped young Laertes. After all, to which of these conflicting forces are we to be true? Again, we see that things are not always as simple as they seem. If we dare to look past the surface of the term self, questions arise that many people would rather not ask. Are the many aspects of my being all equally part of myself, or is there only one of me? And if so, which, where, how, and why? In the following chapters, we will undertake a journey of exploration of self. But we will not do so in the traditional manner. We will neither call upon the experts in psychology nor upon the great philosophers. We will not argue and choose between time-honored religious views or resort to statistically supported surveys of people's opinions. We will instead turn to a single source that has phenomenal direct knowledge on the subject. We will turn to one expert who, for every moment of every day of their life, has been collecting the data necessary to finally put this great inquiry to rest.
and that expert is you. But before you get too excited or decide that you're not up to the task, first be clear that we're not after your views or opinions on the subject. Neither are we interested in what books you have read, classes you have taken, nor seminars you have attended. We are only interested in your intuitive experience of what it is like to be you. We are not looking for your knowledge. We are seeking your direct experience. You see, you can't fail at this because yourself is what you are, at all times and in all places. We simply need to sort it out. After all, it can get quite confusing in there. The chapters of this book are nothing but mirrors for seeing yourself from different angles. And though the journey we are about to embark on is an inner one, it will draw upon every aspect of your life. The only requirements asked of you is the willingness to honestly look at yourself in this most natural, intuitive manner. Remember, if we are seeking the root of self, what we are actually seeking is you. As you read through these pages, you will find that you know much more than you thought you did about some very deep subjects. The fact is, you already know how to find yourself. You've just gotten distracted and disoriented. Once refocused, you will realize that you not only have the ability to find yourself, you have the ability to free yourself. Whether you choose to do so or not is entirely up to you. But upon the completion of your journey through these chapters, there will be no more confusion, no more lack of empowerment, and no more blaming others. You will know exactly what must be done, and you should choose to devote yourself to the ongoing journey of self-realization. You will develop a tremendous sense of respect for who you really are. It is only then that you will come to appreciate the full depth of meaning in the advice, this above all, to thine own self be true. But for now, I think there's nothing left to do but meditate, so 20 minutes. It doesn't feel long enough. I think I'm gonna do a half hour today. I'll do 20 minutes. 20 minutes. All right. another 20 minutes done.